Okay, number one. Very important what you did last time because it ties into what we do here. So, right here, those three beats, that's the rhythm that you learned. Now we're in a 4/4 time signature here. And every time we have a new bar, we have another chord. I don't think we've done this shape yet, but we're doing it now. I'll talk about that chord in a little bit. But basically, what we have here is a polymeter. I think we may have done something like this before. I'm not quite sure. Because yeah, we probably did that with the eighth note stuff. We've covered so many things; it's hard to remember it all, right? Um, yeah, I know we did. I don't know if we really talked about the polymeter yet, but this is definitely worth talking about here. So polymeter means you got two time signatures happening at the same time. So I think what we did before is like this rhythm where it's like counting it as like a one and three, one and three, one and three, one and three. But we would change chords at different places within that rhythm because it was laid out across like a 4/4 time signature. So something like one and three, 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 and three, one and three, one and three. Because yeah, we did something like that. Maybe not that specific progression, but we did do that rhythm. And that was basically a polymeter right there, because we had that one and three. So the 3/4 time signature is applicable there because we're looking at it like the rhythm repeats every three beats, but the chords are changing across the four beats. So same idea here, but more complex rhythm, I feel. So the gallop, reverse gallop, and the drunken gallop, we go through all three of those into three beats, and then we start it again. So the chord changes continue to happen at different places within that 3/4 time signature strumming pattern. So we got the 3/4, or the beat, or the rhythm's changing after every three beats, right? Or it repeats every three beats. So that gives us the 3/4 time signature, but then the chord changes happen on the 4/4 time signature. So polymeter, 3/4 and a 4/4 time signature all happening at once. So counting it, as I advised last time, with just really making sure that you get good at the whole 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 1 and a 2E and 3E, makes doing this sort of thing way easier. Because what I do is I count that like as much as I can, even when going faster and faster, and then just really be careful of when the chord changes happen. Because if you count it like as it's written, doing like the 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 4 and a 1E and 2E, a 3 and a 4E and 1E, a 2 and a 3E and 4E, and just going through it like that. I mean, you could, but when you get going really fast with this sort of thing, man, is that confusing as hell. Much easier just to continue to go 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 1 and a 2E and 3E, and just count it that fast, making sure you change the chords at the right spot. Now, the chord changes, where they happen, so let's think of it like this. We'll say first chord happens on the first beat of the 1 or the 3/4 time signature, right? The second chord happens on beat number 2 of the 3/4 time signature. So there is the full rhythm right there. So see right there in the middle, that second beat, that's where that chord change happens. And then we go through it again. The next chord change will happen on the third beat of the 3/4 time signature. And then that just goes all the way through again. And then change chords on the 1, change chords on the 2, change chords on the 3. So like where we do the chord changes kind of goes later and later with all that stuff. So first we have the beginning chord on beat 1 of the 3/4 count. And then the next chord happens on beat 2 of the 3/4 count, and then the next one happens on beat 3 of the 3/4 count, and then the next chord change happens on beat 1 of the 3/4 count, and so on. So just kind of remembering that can be really helpful. So like when you say, you know, like the 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 1 and a 2, you do that change there, the 2E and 3E, a 1 and a 2E and 3E. So you change on that 3E, a 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 1. So like you can emphasize what beat needs to have that chord change. All right, now that I've said all that stuff, this chord here, I recommend just using those 2 fingers. You could do a bigger version, but that is a pain in the butt to play when you get going fast, and I just don't think the difficulty is worth even fiddling with, because it's such a... You don't really hear that note very well anyway, because it's just the octave of the root note, right? The most important one is that. It gives us a bit of dissonance there, and this way we can use F sharp as the bass note instead of doing a regular power chord here, because technically an F sharp 5 is not in key. The F sharp 5 flat 5 is, but I think for this progression it sounds better to use this. Technically this is an augmented 5th chord, because we're taking the 5th interval and raising it, so augmenting it. But a sharp 5 interval technically is nowhere in this key, because it just doesn't exist in a major scale or minor scale. But those 2 notes do exist, so that's why I named it the way I did. A D major chord, so a D and an F sharp, but there's no 5th interval, so the A note's not being used, so that's why it says no 5, but we're taking the F sharp here and putting it in the bass. That's what this chord name is telling you. It's saying we have a D major chord, no 5th interval is being used, and F sharp is the new bass note. D is still the root note because we're centering all the stuff around that D. But F sharp is the new bass note because it's the lowest note in the chord. So that has to do with like inversions, which we are going to be getting to. Not sure how quick. Depends on how fast you go through things with all the theory stuff. But we will be going over inversions with the triads. But anyway, now that I've said all that, it's time to play it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and a 2E and 3E, a 1 and a... Seems a little quiet. Turn this up a little bit. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and a 2E and 3E, a 1 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 and a 2E and 3E, done. All right, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2E and 3E, a 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 1 and a 2E and 3E, done. 1 sec. I think this microphone is a little bit too loud. Looks like it might be distorting. Hopefully I didn't distort. All right, 140. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's try the old 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go down to 160 for the repeat. So yeah, just play through the whole thing twice. That should be good enough there because we got 6 bars for this. And we're basically playing that rhythm sequence twice anyway within that. So here we go, 2 times through. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. What the hell? I totally choked at the end. Why did I do that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. G and D. 1 and 3 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 and D. There we go. Okay. And yes, if you'd like to palm mute that, you are welcome to do so. Because that won't hurt anything, I don't feel. All right. Next two sweep arpeggio things we're going to do. Well, the next two arpeggios we're going to do in one sweep thing. So you have the A minor 7 into the G7, starting at 60. Here we go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. $60. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, I didn't like that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's go to 180 next. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $220. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And $240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. Let's try again. See if I can get a better. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Next scale thing. I'm sure you knew this was coming. 3 strings at a time. And chord theory this week. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you made it through playing all those chords. If you didn't, please let me know. Let me know if you did not make it through all that arpeggiated chord practice, because we want to make sure you get to play through all those things before you start working on this, okay? So make sure you get that done if you haven't done so yet. But basically what you're going to do with this is you're going to put the progressions together. So you're going to look for the most efficient route from one chord to the next, and then also add the mode name at the beginning. So I think we did the mode name before with these chord shapes. So yeah, same thing here. You're going to hit Shift plus Insert at the same time, and that'll bring up the little extra text box that you can add things in. So yeah, just follow the Roman numerals to know what chord you're going to use. So the string you're going to start with is written at the end. So we're going to start on the E string, but just to demonstrate what we're going to do, I'm going to do this on a different string. I'm going to go all the way up to the G string here. So chord number 6, so we're in the key of C. Remember, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's an A note. And the sixth chord is always minor, so we need an A minor starting on the G string. So there's your A note, and there is our A minor shape. So we put that in, enter the chord name, and then number 2. So we're looking for a nice close number 2, and I feel that this D minor right here, so C to D, D is the second note in the key of C, but of course you know that already, so I don't have to be that detailed with you, because you get it. But of course, if I ever say too little and you need more explanation, let me know. But yeah, so right there is the D minor I would pick for this example that I'm doing. And then number 1, so the C major chord. So just go straight down from that D to the C is a great idea. Put that in. And then, and notice I'm using the guitar to kind of see these things too. I'm not just like putting it down in Guitar Pro and then testing it out. I like to do these things, kind of see where they are. Use that fretboard, you know, use the guitar to figure these things out, because after all, we're learning to play the guitar, not Guitar Pro. I do feel like I need to say that, because quite often students will do stuff like that. They'll just put things in Guitar Pro and not even bother trying to play it. They just put in numbers, and sometimes they end up putting in chords that are not playable. Like they'll put in frets that are just absolutely impossible for anyone to play. So yeah, we want to do this on the guitar first and then put it in Guitar Pro. I think that's the best approach to really get these things down. Okay, so with this one, we got number 5, so that's G. So right there is a good one. However, here's where you want to think like, well, what's really the best route here? So going from C to G makes sense to go right down there. Actually, let me turn this over here. Turn this on. So yeah, we started here at the A minor, down to the D minor, C major. Now we need the G major. So again, we could just jump right down there, but then we have that big of a jump to get back to the A minor. It's not the worst, but maybe there's a better choice. Because you always want to think like you're going back to the start, and it's going to be, loops, because you want to play everything twice through, and then the last chord, which is going to be the same as the first. For me, I actually like this G better, because going from here to this G chord to the A minor, all I have to do is slide my hand down a whole step, take my ring finger off, and just play those top 3 strings. To me, this is a much easier transition versus here to here, or even here to here. This feels way easier to do. So I'm going to go with that one. Now, if it was just C to G, then yeah, just this to this makes the most sense. But because we're going C to G back to A minor, to where we started, to me, that G makes the most sense. And then the first chord always the same as, or the last chord always the same as the first. And then again, Shift plus Insert allows us to bring up a little text box, and then we put in our mode name, and there we go. That's how we're going to do it. So, once you get things filled out, send it on over. Let's double check, make sure everything looks good. And I think that about covers it. So, any questions, let me know, and I'll see you again next week.